All right, let's talk about why I gave up veganism and why I'm eating mostly ketogenic now, but why I incorporated meat back into my diet. Well, it all started, it pretty much, after 8 long years of being vegetarian vegan, I had fish probably 4 or 5 times that entire 8 years. I didn't do any meat or anything like that. But I did a little bit of eggs towards the end of it, and I was finding that my joints were hurting, my energy was lacking, and something was missing. It felt like, the best way to describe it is just, my body was in a state of disarray, and it was very clear to me that something needed to shift. And I had tried pretty much every variation of the vegan diet. I had done initially raw vegan, and then I moved into more of a cooked vegan, high carb, pretty much avoiding oils. And then after that didn't work, I started doing kind of a, what's the book? Doesn't matter. It's basically, I was doing low carbohydrate, or at least gluten-free, and doing pseudo grains like buckwheat, amaranth, quinoa, stuff like that. And that was actually probably the best I felt as a vegan. Doing like a little bit more fat. And then that stopped kind of working, so I went vegetarian and started eating eggs and a little bit of raw cheese. Not much though, and that made me feel better. But as I trained more and more, I found myself just basically just constantly feeling drained, and I wasn't gaining weight. Felt like I was getting weaker and weaker and weaker, and so I held on because of ethics. Ethics was one of the main things for me. I couldn't find a reason or justify eating an animal, and as long as I can't justify it to myself, I won't do it. And so I started looking into, it kind of organically fell into my lap, some like Sverige videos, which I don't necessarily resonate with the way he approaches this topic, and Primal Edge Health. I do appreciate him a little bit more. He has a little more of a grounded approach, but I started just kind of watching some of their videos, and they present a lot of ideas about this idea of the green revolution, and were the first ones to really bring up to my attention that a lot of the facts about veganism, about it being better for the planet, being better for your health, being more sustainable, all these things, I found that this may not be completely true. Now we may be being fed a certain stream of facts or ideas simply for the fact that this may be industry pushing certain ideologies so that we can kind of get boxed in to some degree. And I saw this firsthand. I mean, I saw people being extremely religious minded, very close minded. I had people that stopped talking to me when I told them I'm no longer vegan. So, but it makes sense when you look at kind of the effects long term of vegan and vegetarianism. Most people find themselves weaker, less energy, more irritated, depressed, and usually more more easily manipulated and more docile. So it would make sense that the powers that be would want you to be in a state of control or easier control. But that wasn't the main reason. What it came down to is I was under the premise that if this is better for the planet, for my health, then of course it's the best decision. Why would I not choose to be vegan? You know, I'm saving the animals, I'm saving the planet. But if that's thrown out the window, and those aren't necessarily facts, but more opinions, well then compassion starts to extend towards myself as well. And if I'm suffering because of health reasons, because it's not the healthiest diet like I was told, I'm choosing to give compassion to others but not to myself. And I'm a firm believer that the world is all a fractal of the self, and no one element can go unseen. And if you are avoiding your own health, and at the end of the day, this is your experience, and allowing an animal to live, but you're suffering, is that really the best decision? So as of now, I have incorporated, animal products back into my diet. I constantly stay open-minded. I don't ever think or say that this is the one true answer and now I'm gonna eat meat the rest of my life. I don't know. As of now, I see no intention or no desire to go back to eating vegan or vegetarian, but who knows? Maybe later down in my life, vegetarianism might work for me. Maybe eggs and raw milk might do it for me. I will say after initially going into keto and kind of carnivore, initially I was eating a lot of meat. And I feel like I've kind of stabilized a bit, and now I'm in this nice point where I'm eating some vegetables, I'm eating vegetarian meals on and off, and just enjoying and listening to my body. That's the biggest kind of message or takeaway I would say to this video is, when I finally got out all the dogma and ideologies and whatnot, I was just back to my connection to my body and saying, what do you want? Like, what are you craving right now? What sounds good to you? And it became pretty clear that my body was craving saturated fats, vitamin A, vitamin K2, vitamin D, and the second I started getting that, I felt instantly better. Not because my parasites were craving meat, it was that I was deficient and I needed nutrients and vitamins. So yeah, I mean, that's kind of my story from vegan to vegetarian to keto. And I guess the takeaway is constantly evolve and grow. Perfect example. I was doing keto for the first month and a half, 2 months, but I train exceptionally hard. I do a lot of gymnastics, a lot of, probably twice a day, even 3 times a day. So I've added some carbs back into my diet at the end of the day. So I'm probably more than the average person that considers themselves on keto. But what I do is I train, and I save my carbs for nighttime, and then I eat keto throughout the day, go back to carbs at night. And I'm talking smart carbs like sweet potatoes or some small kind of local potatoes that are on the less sweet side. But I found this to be really helpful for me and kind of took some advice from Ben Greenfield. But yeah, so guys, comment, like, subscribe, say anything you'd like. I'm actually really fascinated by people's journey in health and nutrition because it seems to vary case by case, but that's just my story, and I hope you guys enjoy. So.